Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be doing a review on Single Malt by Kilian, so stay tuned for that. If you like fragrance reviews, cologne comparisons, and top 10 lists, hit that subscribe button for more great content. So if you saw my top 10 fragrances to buy for the year of 2021, Single Malt was on there. It was actually on the top of the list, and I will admit I cheated a bit because I knew that I basically had this one on the way, so I knew I would definitely get it in the year 2021. So at least one of those fragrances on my list I have now picked up. Now I do want to give a shout out to Maximus. He's on the Kilian Fragrance Lovers Facebook page, and he actually did help me get this because this fragrance is very hard to find in North America. So he did actually ship this all the way from Europe, and he basically only charged me retail, so I do appreciate him taking the time to order and also ship this for me. He's also helped me get Straight to Heaven Extreme and Angel Share in the past. So again, I really do appreciate how much he's done, not only for me, but also for the Kilian fragrance family. It is appreciated. Now, I did review this fragrance a long time ago. I didn't have a bottle at the time, and I do, of course, or did recently just get a bottle. So, of course, I was excited to talk about this one. Now, before I do get into the fragrance, I'm going to show you a little bit about the presentation. The presentation that I have, of course, is the new presentation. I believe it had a silver color now, where it has a black one, so you can see, or sorry, gold. So it has the nice gold plaque that used to be reserved for Straight to Heaven Extreme, and I think maybe some of the ouds had it as well. One of the things that I like, the nice touches that they did do, I don't know if you can see it here, but the writing is also filled in now, and they didn't used to do that. So they've done that on the blue bottles, and where it's white. Here, it's in the gold ones, it's black. I believe they've also done it for the gunmetal and silver, but I haven't seen them, so I don't know, or I don't remember anyways off the top of my head what color it actually is. But it adds a really nice, elegant touch, in my opinion. Of course, the Kilian cap has the K on it. Very nice, snug fit, I must say. Comfortable fit with that cap. It is a nice cap, not too heavy, but it is a nice cap overall. And of course, it has the shield of Achilles on the side. So, nice, stylish bottle. This is one of the things that attracted me to the brand. I always liked these bottles, and they're really cool that it's very cool that they're refills. So, you know, it is nice that you can buy something cheaper to fill the juice up and just keep the bottle. It has the same packaging for all the other non-coffer bottles. Again, I actually really like that they've done that, because who has space for like 50 coffers or however many you end up buying? And these are nice little cases for things when you want to put them out of the way, or if I want to put it in the luggage, it's nice to have this. And the price has dropped on most of the fragrances. I think some of the exclusives, the price did stay the same, which is a little bit upsetting, but they are a little harder to get, so I guess they've done that. But anyways, that's the presentation, standard Kilian presentation, if you're familiar with it. Now, to get into the fragrance, what I get from this one. Now, on the first blast, this one is extremely boozy. So, very, very much smells like whiskey, but the whiskey I get from this one is definitely a little bit different. It does have a bit of a wheaty smell. Now, I know wheat is a note, and it certainly comes out as more of a rye whiskey, in my opinion. Now, if you're looking for like a Scotch whiskey, Acro malt, or even a tobacco oud has more of a Scotch whiskey kind of a vibe. Now, I know this is called Single Malt, which is one of the things that I guess surprised me about the fact that it smells a little bit more like a rye whiskey than a Scotch, because it's obviously designed after, you know, Scotch. But it does have this really, really nice, boozy, a little bit sweet, a little bit syrupy kind of a vibe. In that sense, it is similar to apple brandy. It has the same kind of texture, if that makes sense, because it has that syrupy vibe. But where that one has apple, this one has plum. And the plum doesn't kick in right away. For me, the plum actually takes a couple of minutes to really start setting in, and then it definitely becomes the strongest character in this fragrance. So it has this nice, very nice rye whiskey vibe with a very, very strong plum. And I think maybe the plum also contributes it to being a little bit different from a Scotch whiskey, or takes it away from having that Scotch vibe. Now, also in the opening, I do get a little bit of woodiness. It's not very strong, but it even comes off sometimes just slightly smoky. So it is interesting, and I think that aspect of it does kind of lend itself to a nice scotch in the sense that if you've smelled quality scotch, you can definitely smell the oak barrel. And there is a little bit of a woodiness there. It does sometimes have a slightly smoked vibe, which I have certainly smelled on a scotch whiskey before. But all in all, like I said, to me, it does definitely remind me a lot more of a rye whiskey. Now, as this one starts to dry down, the plum, the sweetness, and even to some degree the booziness does stay there for quite some time. So it starts to tone down with the booziness. The wheat starts to become a lot stronger, but in a very nice way. So it doesn't smell like, I don't know, it doesn't smell like really wheaty, but it does have a sort of a wheat vibe to it, where it definitely does give it that kind of whiskey feel because of the wheat. And the plum does tone down, and I find that as it dries down, the plum becomes a little less descriptive. Now, when it's really in the opening, it smells very plum-like. But it does have a little bit more of a kind of sweet, fruity vibe in the dry down, with a little hint of that syrupy booziness. And the wood definitely does creep up a little bit, but I would say this one does not become overtly or as strongly woody as, say, something like Straight to Heaven, which is a very, I find, can be quite woody in the dry down. And that's one of the things I like about it, but it's also nice that this stays away from doing that. It does have a totally different vibe about it. Now, really deep in the dry down, I find a lot of that stuff tones down, and there does remain a really nice sort of sweet, vanilla kind of vibe that definitely has a cozy kind of a feel to it. And so this one does have certainly some nice stages to it. It has some development. It has some transitions over time. It isn't just a straight booze fragrance. It does develop, although I do find it to be sweet from the beginning virtually to the end. So it does carry certain elements through the whole life of the fragrance, but it does certainly change. And it is one of the things that keeps it interesting. But this to me is a very classy fragrance. Now, personally, I would wear this one fall, winter. It is the best for that, although I could see it easily being worn in spring or, of course, in the evening on the summer. I personally probably wouldn't wear this when it's really hot out, but that's just me personally. It's definitely more suited for colder weather. Now, it's not overly sweet, so I don't feel like it would become particularly cloying, but it is just the mood that it kind of sets. So it is definitely something where I could see wearing a suit with this. So this I could easily see being a gentleman's fragrance. I could see wearing it out to a nice evening out, of course, as well. I think it suits itself very, very well for that. There is just something classy I find about boozy fragrances. There's something gentlemanly. And I think that this one is very, very well blended. And the ingredients are all very high quality. And so as that reflects itself in kind of the best situations I feel to wear this one. Now, personally, I'm going to be wearing this in a lot of different situations. You know, if I'm going out in the cold or whatever, I'm probably going to throw this on quite a bit. Partially because I want to use it, I want to wear it. But I do also feel comfortable wearing this more or less anytime. But again, just to give you my suggestion on the best times, nights out, formal occasions, those kinds of things are where this one shines, in my opinion. Now, performance on this one is actually quite good. So longevity, over 8 hours. I will say also, I wore this one, you know, for about 3-4 hours, and then I took a shower, and I had a pretty long shower, a lot of scrubbing. I could still smell this one after. Now, it really, most of what was left afterwards was just that really deep, rich vanilla in the dry down. But the fact that it lasted, you know, first of all, a couple hours, and then having a long shower, for me, 10 minutes anyways is a long time. That's pretty good. So that's a good test. And the quality, sometimes I find if you have a shower, sometimes even if it lasts, there'll be a kind of a burnt or degraded smell to it. The quality was still there. So the ingredients that are used in this are really, really high quality, in my opinion. Projection on this one is pretty good. So it does project, certainly, for 2-3 hours. I don't get the feeling that it is beast mode, although it is certainly rich and does have some projection. I don't want to say it's going to fill a room. I don't get that impression from it, from basically what I've tried. It's not any style beast mode, but it does certainly project. It makes a very nice bubble, people can smell you from a couple feet away, as I have gotten comments on this one from that distance, so I can tell you that it does have a nice bubble. But I don't think this one is absolutely beast, but it certainly projects. And you know what, in some ways that factors into the sort of gentlemanly quality, the gentlemanly factor that this one has. I always feel like a gentleman's fragrance isn't one that is super beast mode. Of course, there's a time and a place or a mood to wear those kinds of fragrances, but I always feel like a gentleman's fragrance, you know, you can smell it, but it's something that draws you a little bit closer. It brings you in instead of something that you would smell across the room, something that shouts at you or announces that you're there. And like I said, I enjoy those fragrances too, but this one, it's not that beast mode. It definitely performs really well. It does last a long time. And there is projection, there is sillage. So you don't have to worry about it being, it's not a skin scent by any means. But anyways, one of the gems from the house. Now I know a lot of people talk about apple brandy. This one does certainly get some love, and I was surprised. Somebody I think did a poll, and this one was getting more love than apple brandy, because I usually hear about apple brandy more. Now, in my opinion, I prefer this one over apple brandy. I probably won't be buying apple brandy, but I have heard that it is being sort of reformulated and moved to the liqueurs collection, the liqueurs collection, and I obviously want to sample it when that happens. But like I said, this is my favorite of the very boozy fragrances from Kilian. Although Straight to Heaven is second place. Apple Brandy, also a good fragrance, but it is similar to this one, and I do prefer this one, so this is the one that I picked up. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you get a chance to try single malt, I definitely recommend getting a decant. It is pretty expensive, so try and get a decant first and see if you like it. But leave a comment down below. What is your favorite boozy fragrance? Let me know, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.